Hey guys, Louis Cuevas here with MakeNorthTexasHome.com and Remax Cross Country, and today I wanted to talk to you about 5 common gimmicks that sellers will often hear. Alright, so these are 5 common gimmicks that as a seller you may experience. Unfortunately, these are the type of gimmicks that give real estate agents a bad name, right there with used car salesmen and that sort of thing. So here's some of the gimmicks. Let's get started. Alright, so the first gimmick is I've got a buyer for your house. And what they mean by that is usually they're knocking on doors, seeing what seller will open the door and answer, and they'll say something like this: hey, I'm in the neighborhood because I've got a buyer that wants to buy your house. The reality is they probably don't. More than likely they don't. The other thing is they haven't even seen your house. They don't know what the inside looks like. They don't know the condition. They don't know what upgrades. The reality is that this buyer does not exist. They're just using that as a ploy to, again, get inside your house, get you to list with them, and then mysteriously that buyer no longer exists, or they put a sign in the yard, cross their fingers that some people start calling, and then there's the mysterious buyer. But again, don't fall for it. It's a common gimmick. All right, so number 2, this one is pretty common as well, is they call themselves the neighborhood expert. And I'm talking about a real estate agent that calls themselves the neighborhood expert. Now, I will say that there are people who are neighborhood experts, but that is very rare. If you really look at a real estate agent's sales, you'll notice they're probably scattered all over the place. You might get lucky and find one that is the neighborhood expert. And if they are the neighborhood expert, there's probably a good chance that you already know that, simply because you see them doing a lot of business in your neighborhood, they live in your neighborhood, or there's a lot of signs in your neighborhood with their names on it from listings they have. Those are the neighborhood experts. But if you don't see any of that, then they're probably not. And again, it's just a gimmick to say that they're familiar with your home, familiar with your area, again, just to try to get their foot in the door. All right, so number 3 is unsolicited phone calls, and that is the modern day of spamming. Doesn't matter if your phone is on the do not call list, they will still call you, and they'll call you all the time, probably with some of these things, saying they're the neighborhood expert. They'll say, hey, I've got a buyer for you, those kind of things. Really what they're doing is picking up the phone call or looking up phone numbers and just calling one after another and after another. Usually they won't hire, maybe it'll be the agent. Sometimes they'll hire a person just to make phone calls. They've got a robocaller and they're just calling. Essentially they're just filling the water, see if there's anyone interested in selling the house. But again, it's the modern day spam in my opinion. All right, so number 4 is a pretty common one, and I have to say a pretty successful one for listing agents, and that is, if I can't sell your house, I'll just buy it. Is there a truth to that? Yes. But what happens is when you look into those listing contracts, you'll notice that some of the things that they ask you to do, you're probably not going to be willing to do, and that is that you price it at what they suggest, that you do all these things, for example, make these repairs, do all these things, reduce the sales price. And then if they can't sell it after that, then they'll purchase it. And then they don't just purchase it at the normal price. It's usually at a much reduced sales price. So probably something you wouldn't have done. And if you check into them and ask, most of them will tell you they've never had to purchase a home. The reality is that it's a gimmick. They're just trying to get their foot in the door. And that's one of the ways that they get their phone to ring. But again, don't fall for it. All right, so number 5 is the inflated market analysis. Another way to look at this is that they'll tell you any number that you want that'll get you to sign on the dotted line and get their sign in the yard. In other words, when they come over to your house and they go over the comps with you, they kind of push them up a little bit, and that's just to make you feel warm and fuzzy, feel good about the numbers that this particular agent's presenting, even if they're a little high or higher than what you really should be listed at. But the idea is this: that when they have these inflated CMAs, comparative market analysis, higher numbers, that you're more likely to sign on the dotted line, meaning that you're going to give them the opportunity to sell your home, put the sign in the yard. Here's what happens. When they get their sign in the yard, and they put it in the MLS, let's just say it doesn't move. They'll hit you up for a price reduction, maybe to where it should have been to begin with, or just lower it. Why? Because now they know they've got you on the hook, that you'll probably want to sell it. And by the time you figure out that their CMA was a little inflated, you're already down to the price that you should have gone with in the beginning. Again, it's a gimmick to just get you to sign, get their sign in the yard, and ultimately get that sell. And it works, so don't fall for that. All right, so those are some of the 5 most common gimmicks that I see presented to sellers. The reason I wanted to do this video is so that maybe if you pick up a thing or two, you'll see these red flags and don't fall to these particular gimmicks. So how do I do business? I don't do any gimmicks. I just don't do that. I don't feel comfortable doing gimmicks. I don't give people the bait and switch. I'm just honest. I will tell people that I'm a straight shooter. I tell them the truth. A lot of agents will just tell people what they want to hear, and it's not necessarily the truth. So hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you picked up a thing or two, and if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to contact me. But thank you so much. Now, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Make North Texas Home, or you can check out more videos on my website, which is makenorthtexashome.com. Thank you so much.